We took Lincoln in for his annual checkup, and we were so confident that they were going to tell us that he was doing amazing and that he didn't even need the shunt he had in anymore. But what happened instead, we couldn't let the month of September go by without recognizing that it's Hydrocephalus Awareness Month. As you all know, that is a disease that Lincoln has. I was talking to Luke about this earlier. I was telling him how it's something that he has and will always have. What are you doing? Just because he has a shunt doesn't mean it's gone away. In fact, you have 2 shunts, right?
1 and 3.
You want 3?
Yeah.
You don't want 3 shunts.
What if I got 3 shunts? Then what?
Then your head would be full of shunts. Basically just the shunt makes it so everything functions the way it's supposed to. So we are hoping that at some point in Lincoln's lifetime, the cure is found. There's no cure for hydrocephalus, right?
Nope.
Nope. And all we do is we can give you a shunt, and the way you get a shunt placed in your brain is through brain surgery, right?
Yeah.
There's lots of cases of hydrocephalus, and it can be caused by multiple things. It could be caused by brain injury, it could be caused by brain bleed, it could be caused by spina bifida. There's multiple ways that it's caused. Lincoln's was caused by his premature birth, and he had a brain bleed. We do what we can to just make it work. And knock on wood, we've not had any issues for the last couple of years. Probably about 5 years. The times that we have had to go through something, it's not been a whole lot of fun, has it?
Mm-mm.
What does it feel like when you're having problems with your shunt? Doesn't usually your head hurt?
Yeah.
His head will hurt, he needs to lie flat, and he feels nauseous.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can either adjust the pressure, or if it's a more serious matter, then they have to go and replace the shunt because it can malfunction. There could be like a kink in the tube. There's multiple things that could cause it to not work the way it's supposed to. But we're super grateful for the doctors that have helped us with it so far, right? And we're hoping we can find a cure for little guys like you. But honestly, it's kind of one of those silent diseases. You don't necessarily know if someone has it. A lot of times you'll see children who have enlarged heads. His head was actually enlarged as a baby. They were able to release that fluid, and then his head went back down to a typical size. And so we've not had any issues with that. He's got a lot of battle wounds, right? There's a lot of people out there that are dealing with it on a daily basis, and it can just kind of hit you out of left field. What it means to me to have someone with hydrocephalus, I just have to take extra care with this little guy, and he's a little fragile. For the most part, you're just like any other kid. He's doing good in school right now, he's making new friends. We're doing good. So Lincoln's had about 6 brain surgeries, and he's only 9 years old. So that's about 1 every 2 years, give or take. There's a good chance that Lincoln will have to have more brain surgeries in his future if they can find some other kind of cure that would make it so it doesn't require brain surgery and a shunt placed in his brain. Then that's something that we could look forward to, and I know that they're trying to work on it, and there's about 1 million people who are living with hydrocephalus. So we are fighting for no more brain surgeries, right? If we can cure hydrocephalus, then that would be pretty awesome. One of Lincoln's last bad encounters with hydrocephalus was about 5 years ago. We took Lincoln in for his annual checkup, and we were so confident that they were going to tell us that he was doing amazing and that he didn't even need the shunt he had in anymore. But what happened instead is that we were given news that came out of left field. We didn't expect it. And instead of telling us that things were okay or better than expected, they actually told us things were worse than we had thought. The brain bleed Lincoln had also affected his lower ventricle. And I think that they were aware of this at the time of his birth, but it never showed any kind of an issue in the beginning. So I think they just left it be. But as time went on, and as we had MRI images taken of him, it showed that his fluid was increasing, and it became of the utmost importance to go get it taken care of. The ventricle that needed to be addressed was the one that is right by his brainstem. So the extra fluid was pressing on his brainstem. So we basically were told that Lincoln needed to have surgery the next day, the very next day. So it was definitely one of those experiences that you know, I did not prepare for.
How old was I?
You were about 4 years old. So we went in and had his surgery done, and it's supposed to be kind of a 1-day procedure, and if he's doing well, then the next day he can go home. What they had found was that the placement of the new shunt was affecting the existing shunt in a negative way, and it was causing fluid buildup in his upper ventricles. So they sent us home anyway, thinking that with time that the fluid would go to the level that it needed to be. And how you doing?
Good.
We brought him home, and it actually just progressively got worse. He was showing us signs that something wasn't right and that he was not getting better, but in fact getting worse. So we rushed him back to the hospital, where we saw the neurosurgeon, and he let us know that it wasn't getting better and that they needed to take out the existing shunt that he had beforehand and move it to the opposite side ventricle. So they did that and again sent us home, and again things weren't getting better. They progressively got worse. So we went back to the hospital again, and they watched him for multiple days. So this was supposed to be like a 1-day surgery, overnight stay, and go home the next morning. And it turned into like a 2-week ordeal. Do you remember?
No.
Good. And we went back for the second time. They'd kept us, and they were monitoring him, and they were trying to figure out what was going on and trying to just decide what was the best protocol. What we ended up doing was our neurosurgeon asked us if we were willing to do kind of an experimental procedure he used on someone else in the past, but it wasn't anything that he used frequently, and we were up for anything, especially if it meant no more surgery. So what they did was they wrapped an ACE bandage around his neck, and the ACE bandage basically constricted the blood flow so that his ventricles would shrink back down to normal size. There was enough, you know, room for him to breathe still. Hi, Lincoln. Can you open your eyes? He wore that ACE bandage around his neck for about a month, and it worked. So it was one of those crazy things that we just had to have faith and trust that our doctor, who was a brilliant man, knew what he was doing, and he did. And we were so grateful.
Which doctor?
That was Dr. Reva Cambrin.
Oh.
Yeah, he's not at our children's hospital anymore. Unfortunately, he moved to Canada, so we're so sad. But I mean, we still have other great neurosurgeons that we work with. In the meantime, this little guy is doing great, and he's happy as a lark. And we just enjoy the time that we have without any issues, and pray that we can buy as much time as possible with no issues. I just wanted to give a shout out to the Hydrocephalus Association. They're great about getting the word out, education, and trying to raise funds. We just wanted to say, any of you who are also living with hydrocephalus, we are thinking of you and we understand you and we are praying with you. All right, Lincoln. Love you. Okay, dude. Thanks for chilling with me. Thanks for letting everybody know about hydrocephalus. You are one cool dude. Did you know that? Yep.
See you later.
All right, thanks for watching. Savannah, what is it like for you living with a brother with hydrocephalus?
I get a little crazy sometimes, but he is a very sweet boy and I love to have him as my brother.
How do you feel about having a brother with hydrocephalus?
It means we have to take extra good care of it.
Luke, what do you think about having a brother with hydrocephalus?
He's been a great blessing to us, and he's helped us learn that even with a disability, you can live a perfect, normal life and be happy and make everyone else around you happy. So.
Good. I feel like you have definitely opened your eyes to being more accepting to people around you with disabilities and wanting to make sure that they feel special. What has it been like for you having a child with hydrocephalus?
He's like any of my other kids. We deal with it.
Brooklyn, what do you think about having a brother with special needs? Isn't Lincoln a pretty special person? He's awesome, huh?